Hello, my name is Victoria. I am the founder of Create Yes, Your Essential Self, encouraging everyone to embrace the experience of evolving. We're here in the EvolveUP room as part of the UP Convergence leading up to Peace Weekend. And my guests today are Connie and Andrew, and they're going to be discussing accessing the trust frequency. So who are they? Andrew Cameron Bailey and Connie Baxter Marlow are original thinkers, writers, photographers, filmmakers, futurists, climate solutionaries, and inspirational public speakers. They met at a gathering of Indigenous elders and shamans at the Omega Institute in upstate New York in October 2003. So you have lastingness with you. And it was immediately obvious that they had destiny together, and they got right to work. And maybe it's shared destiny keeps people together. Their explorations into the essence of reality have led to a unique articulation of the conscious, loving, abundant nature of the universe and humanity's place in it. For them, integrating Indigenous values, concepts, and cosmology into modern thinking is critical to the evolution of the human potential and to walking in balance on and with the earth. Their work over the past 25 years has been to bring in an understanding of the role Indigenous people and values have played in the evolution of consciousness and have yet to play. They believe the only way out is up to higher consciousness. We'll talk about what they are presenting. Let's see, they're presenting, we'll talk about what they're presenting on Thursday a little bit later after your trust frequency discussion. I will turn it over to the two of you, Connie and Andrew.
Thank you, Victoria.
Thank you, Victoria.
And it's good to be here. It's an honor and it's a lot of fun. And I believe it's important from an evolutionary standpoint. What does that mean?
For evolving up, since we're in the Evolve Up room,
Right.
we're going to give some tips and tricks and tools for evolving up and walking in trust.
I don't think we can evolve down. So we're going
Yeah.
to evolve up. It's a spiral.
An
It
evolutionary
takes us
upward.
ever higher as conscious beings in this conscious universe.
Yeah,
Ooh, that's interesting.
an evolutionary upward spiral to peace on with Earth. So what we're going to do is walk you through some pretty intense information about the nature of the universe, a construct we've come up with to show and teach and help people understand that it's a conscious, loving universe and our place in it. So let's have at it. We have a slideshow, a PowerPoint that we are going to use, and we'll get with sharing that now and walk you through this process and this information, shall we? All right.
Welcome to the conscious, loving universe.
Yeah, here we go. There it is. It's a conscious, loving universe. Let's see here. We're going to go to slideshow so it really takes over the screen.
There we go.
And it's a conscious, loving universe. And what we want to know is, are you ready to move beyond duality? The big leap, beyond right and wrong, victim, perpetrator, and good and evil. So hang with us and we will give you a construct that takes us to that place, a rational construct that takes us to that place that we have to get to if we want to stay with the earth and move into higher frequencies with her as she moves, as the energies shift on this planet.
You mean the earth is moving to a higher vibratory state?
Yes.
It is?
We think so.
And
I know so.
and we could
In my knowing
and we
of
could-
knowings.
And we could get left behind?
We could if we don't
In
do
other
our
words,
work.
if we stay in that low vibe place, what happens?
Well, I don't know. Either the earth shifts into two and with a low vibe, people who don't choose to go into the high vibe get to keep doing this low vibe thing that we've been doing for millennia.
So Rumi had something to say on that subject, I think.
He did. Rumi said to us, wrote a really beautiful thing that helps us to see that he saw this place. And that is,
And Rumi is the 13th century Persian Sufi poet, for those of you who don't know who Rumi is.
so that was way back when he saw
Mhm.
this and understood it. So we're bringing ancient knowledge into a higher frequency that the indigenous peoples, the seers, and have been carrying for us all this time. And here it is. Do you want to read that?
Okay. So this is a very well-known quote of Rumi's. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, and even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense.
So we're speaking, and he's speaking about a reality we can't even fathom. And we believe that's what's coming on the planet in this higher frequency. We can't even fathom it in our current mind and paradigm that we've been raised in, and it's been predominant on the planet for so long. So, and we've created an ebook that's going to be available very soon that is called The Conscious Loving Universe, a Guidebook. And what we're saying is that it's all love.
The
universe.
The conscious loving universe
The
is all love.
Yes.
With a capital L, I noticed.
Yes, a capital L. So we're
This might
gonna
be challenging for some of you, so let's see where that goes.
Yeah, so we're gonna play a little manifesto that we've put together, so you can have a sense in 5 minutes of what we're talking about, a little preview.
Little conversation
So-
we had on video.
Here we go with that, and I'm going to play it on YouTube so that it comes through clearly. And I want to get it to full screen. And here we go.
Welcome to the conscious loving universe.
The conscious, loving, abundant universe.
Humanity is on the cusp.
What's up with that?
Of an evolutionary quantum leap. We are moving from Homo sapiens to what I like to call humanity 2.0. Cutting-edge science is affirming what indigenous cosmology, Western mysticism, and the ancient Vedic wisdom of India have said for thousands of years. We exist as part of an interconnected universe of boundless energy and intelligence. You can call it the field or the force. Some people call it God. Science calls it the quantum vacuum. Whatever you choose to call it, we propose that the omnipresent universal field of energy and intelligence is in fact love. Love with a capital L. Needless to say, science is not quite ready to talk about love, but the truth of the matter is this.
There is only love. Love with a capital L. The entire universe is made up of love. However, love is not what most people think it is. In fact, love is the primordial power of the universe that creates and sustains all things. The love of the universe is a scientific fact. It's a quantum physics phenomenon. And guess what? This love is unconditional. It gives us everything we ask for. The big question is, what are our requests?
Our requests are our consciousness. We create reality with the power of our consciousness. It's all vibration. It's all frequency. It's physics. It's literally the mechanism that creates our reality individually and collectively. Not everybody knows that.
There are 7 aspects of human consciousness that determine our vibratory state, our frequency. And they all begin with the letter A. Here they are in one sentence. With expanded awareness and accurate assumptions, we choose our attitude, consciously direct our attention, align with our highest inner promptings, take committed action, and allow the loving universe to manifest beyond our wildest dreams.
Change your assumptions and the world changes with you. Our assumptions are the lens through which we see the world and are foundational to creating our reality. Our assumptions literally determine our frequency, and our frequency determines our reality.
Every frequency has its own laws. The laws are expanded in the higher frequencies. The earth is moving into a higher frequency, and we have work to do to keep up with her. The systems that were created in the lower frequencies of fear, scarcity, and separation are breaking down, and we're moving into a level of consciousness where ease, grace, generosity, and abundance are the natural order of things. There's a party going on, and we're all invited. We just gave directions to the party. I'll see you there.
Think of it this way. We are roving sensory organs of the divine.
We are the consciousness of unconditional love coming to understand itself.
Trust the loving universe.
Trust the conscious, loving, abundant universe. We are the conscious, loving universe.
Keep your vibrational field high. Keep your heart open. Stay in the trust frequency. It changes everything. Thank you.
So there you have it, the Trust Frequency Manifesto. And this is our book, the cover of our book, The Trust Frequency, 10 Assumptions for a New Paradigm.
And you might notice the new mathematics in the equation on the cover there. Everybody's used to E equals MC squared, but how many of you have ever heard of Kokopelli, firstly? And secondly, Kokopelli equals MC squared. Well, Kokopelli is a Native American iconic figure, either mythological or based on a real person, we don't know, a long time ago, and represents the wisdom of the indigenous or native peoples of planet Earth. And look at that equation, the equivalence of science, all of Western science or all of the scientific facts we've learned over the generations in balance with indigenous understanding. That's our mission, is to balance those two factors that have been so out of balance for so long.
And actually what we bring is a synthesis of the two, something that's new from the coming together of the two. That's what this trust frequency construct on the nature of the universe is. And we have a new equation. Just consider this.
You mean another equation?
Another equation.
All
Here
right.
it is, spelled out.
QR plus IC equals CLU. Come on, what does that mean? Tell me.
Quantum reality plus indigenous cosmology equals the conscious loving universe. So do you think we'll get as far with this as dear Albert did with his?
Oh, boy, you got a kick start on us, but yeah.
Who knows? We're having fun though. So we're going to ask you to take the following definitions and assumptions as absolutely true. We use words in ways that you can't find in the dictionary. So we have created our own little dictionary, and we're going to ask you to ponder these and take them as absolutely true, along with the 10 assumptions, just for this exercise. And then after the exercise, it'll be up to you to determine whether they fit and whether they resonate with your heart and spirit for long-term guidance, because we're carrying this all. We know the truth. We know it. It's our true nature. It's the true nature of the universe. So there's many paths to the mountain. We've articulating it in a certain way, but hopefully it'll have a resonance to your knowing, your inner knowing that could be buried so deep under all these layers of the millennia of our systems that have been out of balance and our behaviors forever,
And
for
my
a long, long time anyway.
And my personal experience as the person who actually sat down for close to 5 years and wrote this book, and when you write the book, you'd better walk the talk, had you not. So what's very interesting is putting this into practice by taking these ideas, which are, I have to say, radically different from what we were raised in, and really make them your worldview, the paradigm you exist in. We can actually shift our paradigm.
Yeah, so when Andrew and I met, I had put together this understanding of the nature of the universe. And he said, you got to write a book, Connie. And I didn't want to write a book. And he had so much to bring to it with him, his Sufism. He'd been a Sufi. He'd spent time with the Native Americans. He's from South Africa. He'd spent time with the Bushmen of the Kalahari. So we are co-authors of the book, with him actually having written it and done a beautiful job, because he's actually a writer. And you'll find that when you get the book and read it, because it's really beautifully expressed.
And in this presentation right now, we'll share a few quotes from the book. In each segment, we'll actually give you a little nugget from the book itself. So,
Yeah.
okay, here we go.
So here are our definitions, and we'll run through these pretty quickly, and so that we can get through all this. So here's assumption.
And I think you will find that many of these words, these definitions, you won't find anything remotely like them in the dictionary, as Connie just said. However, assumptions, paradigm, these are words we do know, but we're going to go into uncharted territory with some of the others. So an assumption, what's an assumption? It's a fundamental belief that we take to be true without question. It's an assumption, right? Could also be seen as an opinion. What's a paradigm? A paradigm is a set of agreed upon assumptions that creates a consensus reality. And each culture, each religion, on and on and on, has a specific paradigm based on the worldview propagated by that culture.
And this current scientific paradigm of separation, of disconnectedness, has influenced us to a great degree. And there's a new science coming up with a new paradigm that's aligned with this trust frequency and the indigenous knowing and the Vedic understanding and the spiritual connection to the universe. So that's what's important, is this new paradigm taking on new assumptions and getting out of that old low vibration paradigm. And here we have circumstance, the seemingly uncontrollable outward events that influence our decisions. You'll learn a little something about circumstance as we proceed. And here's a big one. And this is key to our understanding of our own lives, our relationships. We have a course that applies these assumptions to our relationships. And this is key. Humanity is a collection of divine, autonomous, sovereign beings who have chosen to incarnate on Earth to learn and grow on their soul's journey to wholeness, which is self-love and self-acceptance, each with an individual purpose and a unique gift. So that's a big one. And we'll carry on and apply that as we proceed.
And try finding that definition in the dictionary.
Right. So here's another one. Whoops. Just
skip
skipped
something?
one. Just skipped one. Let me see
Okay,
if I can
see if
get
we go
back
back.
to it. What's
Tech-
going on?
Technology is intervening. Because we're going to
Okay,
tell
here
you
we
about,
go.
we're going to tell
Here
you
we go.
about love and
Here we go. Frequency. As the science guy, do you want to say the frequency?
All right, so this is the way we stated in the book. Frequency, the vibratory state that determines the characteristics of a particular reality. There's a wide range of frequencies, each with its own reality and its own distinct laws.
Yeah, we'll go into that further. And then there's free will, the inalienable right and ability to choose one's frequency and to co-create one's reality. So this is a big deal. It lets us know how powerful we are. And we'll keep going here to consciousness.
All right, so consciousness, go to the dictionary and look up the word consciousness, and it will simply say consciousness is awareness. Okay, that's true, but that's as far as it goes. Science has had immense difficulty with the concept of consciousness. Even you go and talk to the religions and ask them about consciousness, and you don't get a very clear answer. So what is consciousness? We asked that question at the beginning of this book, and it seemed that consciousness, there are two kinds of consciousness. One is what we would call universal consciousness, the omnipresent life energy of the universe. And then there's the consciousness that we humans and all other sentient beings experience every waking breath. Human consciousness is the active and passive phenomena of awareness. Yes, you'll find that in the dictionary, but also assumption, attitude, attention, alignment, action, and allowing. And note that all of those words start with the letter A. So we call them the 7 A's. And they, taken together, determine our frequency. And I think you're getting a hint of how important this is to the life we experience.
Yes, and the new science, the cutting edge science is understanding what consciousness is, that we are consciousness. And Jude Curran, you'll hear her soon say, yes, it's the science of consciousness. So, and the science of love, which we're going to bring in.
Precisely.
And
So
here we go.
Speaking of love, I love this young lady next to me here. Yeah, but we're not talking about that kind of love. And I love my grandson, and I'm not talking about that kind of love. We're speaking about the love that actually created the universe. It's actually a quantum physics phenomenon, a cosmology, a scientific cosmology phenomenon. Love is the fundamental creative and unifying power of the universe.
Yes, indeed. You'll learn a little more about that as we go on.
And speaking of the universe, what do we mean by the universe? Do we mean a bunch of quarks and atoms and planets and galaxies and on and on and on? Well, yeah, but well beyond all of that, by the universe, we mean all that is, in caps, both manifest and unmanifest. It's also called God, Creator, Jehovah, Atman, Allah, the force, the unified field, the great mystery, the quantum vacuum of all things, and many other names for the universe of which we are an integral component.
So we'll move into our assumptions now, and we're going to really address our first 4 assumptions pretty in depth. And then we're going to talk a little bit about applying those to relationships. So you have a little bit of a takeaway in that regard. And then we'll finish off with our last 5 assumptions, 6 assumptions.
So remembering there are 10 assumptions. And if we take these 10 assumptions as absolutely true, guess what? We're in a new reality. We have a new worldview. We are in a new paradigm.
And I just have to say that for me, these are absolutely true. And that's a tough place to go, to be absolute there all the time. And takes trust and knowing and understanding and the ability to change one's worldview and really go there and walk it. That's the kicker, walking it, trusting it that much, knowing it that much that we actually walk it. And that's our job now as we
Put
transition.
your life on the line.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
These are foundational.
Yeah. So here we go. And we have the first assumption. We live in a conscious, loving universe. There is only love. And we'll resolve that paradox between love and not love in the next assumption. But we're going to read you a little quote that's here, that's from our book. And these are actually pages from our Conscious Loving Universe guidebook. So you're seeing some graphics
Our
that you'll see
forthcoming
in
ebook,
our
right.
forthcoming ebook.
And in case you can't read them, because you may be watching this presentation on your phone or something, and it may be difficult to read this, we know that. So here is the way we express love, the definition of love from the book. Love is the primordial energy that creates and sustains the entire physical and non-physical universe. It is therefore related to the Higgs boson, aka the God particle, and the gluon described by contemporary quantum physics. The Higgs boson brings matter into existence, and the gluon is the subatomic power that holds everything together. That sounds like a lot like love to us.
Yeah. Now we'll move on into the second assumption, which resolves that paradox, as I said, because we see so much and experience so much as not love.
Mm-hmm.
And we told you at the beginning, this is about shifting beyond right and wrong, good and evil, victim and perpetrator, and going into that field that Rumi was talking about. Big deal.
So how can there be love and not love?
Yeah.
It's like saying there's universe and not universe.
Well, here we've got Jude Currivan, who's a foremost new physicist. She's not new, but her work is breakthrough physics, and she spent a lot of time with indigenous peoples and a lot of time with various belief systems. And her physics is revolutionary, evolutionary, and she's making that bridge between physics and the everyday understanding, the common man, our practical understanding. So she's brilliant, and I suggest you look her up, judecurrivan.com, the whole world view. So here we'll go and have an experience of
Jude Currivan.
Jude Currivan. Here she comes. Let's see. Hey, Jude.
Hey, Jude. Where are you? There
Here
she comes.
This is why I feel this is such an incredibly important time, because this convergence of science and spirituality actually includes and transcends both. So this is a cosmology of consciousness. This is literally a science of love. This is holding us in a unifying framework where everything in existence matters, where everything in existence has meaning and purpose, and we are the agents. We are the heads and hearts and hands of its evolutionary impulse.
Yes, Jude. We love you, Jude.
Put those guys away.
So we'll put that away so it doesn't come back to haunt us. And we'll go like this. And we'll move on. So Jude, the cosmology of consciousness, the science of love.
And that is just, actually, I'm just putting this into focus because we met Jude in Toronto at the Parliament of the World's Religions. back at in September, October of
2018.
2018. And we wrote this book starting back in, well, once we first met in 2003, but in 2005, this book was taking shape, and Jude is speaking precisely the same language from the standpoint or viewpoint of a physicist. Wow, I'm actually boggled by that.
And what she means is, because I've heard her say that love connects us. And this is the science of connection. If they come to understand we are in fact one consciousness. And so fear separates us. So that old disconnected separation cosmology paradigm has separated us and filled us with fear. And this new paradigm, this new science, lets us see that we're interconnected, and so that we can move out of fear and into love and into expressing the love carried in the human heart, which all of creation is awaiting the release of that love that we have in our heart. Think about that. That's a big deal. And we've got to get out of fear, separation, scarcity, all that stuff that came with that lower frequency that the earth was sitting in, as far as we're concerned. The earth was, so everyone, every race, every color of man has been affected by that lower frequency and exhibited behaviors that are related to separation, scarcity, and fear. So that's a key important thing to understand, that every race on the planet has been affected by that lower frequency, no matter what their cosmology is, no matter how high the vision is. So, and what we have to acknowledge is that the high vision of every culture, and then acknowledge the shadow that had been responding to that lower frequency. So here we have God is love plus God is everything. So that goes into meaning everything is love. How do you think of that?
Connie, put this equation to another equation. You're becoming a mathematician.
I'm like becoming a mathematician.
I think so. But look at that. If God is love and God is everything, that has to mean everything is love. That is an
Just makes
extraordinary
sense.
simple.
A plus B equals C, right,
That's
Mr.
right.
Mathematician?
Yes, darling.
Yes, darling. So now we'll go into our second assumption that resolves that paradox.
Which paradox?
The paradox of love, not love.
Thanks
So
for
you
the
say that
reminder.
there's
Mhm.
only love. Well, excuse me,
Yeah.
but
How can there be all
How
these
can there be
bad things?
all these bad
Mm.
things happening?
Mm.
So if it's all love, well, here's the nature of that love. We just don't understand the nature of that love. We think it's about holding hands and being sweet and kind and compassionate and empathetic and all those wonderful human qualities that we're moving into as we open our hearts. But meanwhile, unconditional love is quite something else.
It's unconditional.
Yeah, it's unconditional. It gives us everything we ask for. How about that? Do you want to read? And we'll go on into our third and fourth assumption that helps us understand what our requests are to this conscious, loving universe. And it's really, we can frame it that way, but it's actually physics. It's actually vibration. So Andrew's going to just read this quote
Here's
from
a
the
quote
book,
from the chapter,
the second
which
assumption.
is the second assumption. So this is about love. The greatest difference between the love with a capital L of the universe with a capital U and the kind of love we humans are accustomed to is this. The love of the universe is unconditional, absolutely unconditional. It is critical to understand this.
Yeah, so we've redefined the definition of unconditional love, because most people think, oh, it's unconditional. You're going to be sweet. You love me unconditionally. You're going to be sweet to me forever. You're never going to be cross or angry. You're not going to show me your shadow, my shadow. We're not going to get in the dance of souls. We'll go into that in a little bit.
Because we are interconnected vibratory beings, electromagnetic beings, it's as though saying, I'm going to be unconditionally loving to my hand because my hand is a part of me and I can't do without it. We're like that to the universe.
Yeah, and the nature of unconditional love being that it gives us everything we ask for. What we come to understand is what our soul asked for when it incarnated on the planet and on our soul's journey to wholeness. Remember that definition of humanity that chose to incarnate on earth on the soul's journey to wholeness, self-love, self-acceptance with a gift and a purpose. So, and that's what the universe is waiting for, that gift that we promise to bring, and our alignment with our divinity and our self-love, so we can truly open our hearts. So let's go into what are our requests to this conscious, loving universe.
So I imagine it's challenging for many to hear that, oh, the universe loves us unconditionally and it gives us everything we ask for. Well, if we are intimately, permanently interconnected with the loving universe, we are a part of that universe and we communicate with the universe 24/7. We are a conscious component of the universe. And if I believe something, if I have an opinion, if I have an assumption about something, I have power with that. And I may be creating in this co-creative role something that I wouldn't choose if I were actually aware enough to know what I was doing.
There's two of our A's right there.
That's right.
Awareness
So these
and
are,
assumption.
these are facets of the nature of our consciousness. So we create reality with the power of our consciousness. That's this assumption. The third assumption is we create reality with the power of our consciousness. That means the life we experience on one hand, but it actually means reality in an unlimited way. We actually contribute to the evolution of the universe itself through our consciousness. And that consciousness is filtered through our beliefs, through our assumptions, through our opinions about things. And they're often limiting beliefs, limiting opinions.
Absolutely.
So what we're proposing is that we examine, we look inside at these unexamined assumptions and go, whoa, why do I believe that? Oh, somebody told me that when I was 6 years old, and I've believed it ever since. And now I'm 60 and I'm behaving accordingly.
And the scientific paradigm and the economic systems are all based on erroneous assumptions about the nature of the universe. And we bought it hook, line, and sinker. We were supposed to, because we had to get through this and choose to transmute fear, separation, and the illusion of scarcity. And we've done a great job, because here we are. Thanks to the pandemic, we've been sent home to really ponder our true nature and the true nature of the universe, so that the universal energies can come through and really communicate to us and give us support in becoming our true selves and aligning with the true nature of the universe, what the native people call our original instructions. So here, how about reading that quote from the third assumption? Then we'll move into
I think I've got it typed up right over here.
Aspects of our consciousness that.
All right. And this is in the book, dear friends. The boundless diversity of existence is the ever-evolving consciousness of unconditional love coming to understand and experience itself and its unlimited potential for creative expression. This consciousness explores its expressive capability by creating powerful visionary creatures such as ourselves, each with a gift and a purpose on our soul's journey to wholeness.
Yeah, now that was a mouthful.
Want to say it again? I can do it.
Maybe a little slower,
Oh,
so these
come
people
on.
can
We
understand
got a bunch
it.
of very intelligent
Yes.
evolutionaries out there. So.
Anyway, you probably got the
fast?
gist, a little bit, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know, people can tell us, but meanwhile, let's go into what we told you are aspects of our consciousness that actually create our reality. They create our vibratory level. So this is our fourth assumption. And we went over that briefly, and it was in our manifesto, but we want you to just really understand what we're calling the 7 A's, 7 aspects of our consciousness that begin with the letter A, so that we can check these day in and day out. When we get up in the morning, when we're standing in the grocery line, when we're driving down the road, we can check our 7 A's and see where they're at, what vibratory level are they at, so that we know we're in charge of our reality with conscious evolutionary choice.
This is actually a toolbox sort of for the operating system of the human being, that we can, by taking the fourth assumption and putting it to work, the 7 A's, awareness, assumption, attitude, attention, alignment, action, and allowing, determine our frequency. And we all know that. When I'm in a bad mood, or I'm stuck in traffic, or I'm afraid of something, or anxious about something, I put out a different vibratory signal to the loving universe that responds accordingly. And sometimes that can result in things we wouldn't choose if we were more aware.
If we were more aware and
Yeah.
understand, it's simply an understanding of how the universe
How it
works
It's the
and our
mechanics.
place in it, the mechanics,
The mechanics
of the universe. And our place in it, and what we create with our consciousness, this whole reality that we're experiencing, not just our personal reality, but the collective reality on planet Earth right now, and what it's been forever through the eons, and with this current separation paradigm and scarcity economic basis of our whole competition thing, we have a reality because we believed it. And as I said, it was our job to. So no shame, no blame. We just, now it's our job to take it to a higher level.
To
And
wake up
here's-
time.
Here's the 7 A's of consciousness in one sentence. And people love this sentence because it really expresses what's possible and gives some concrete tools for how to get there. So with expanded awareness and accurate assumptions, we choose our attitude, consciously direct our attention, align with our highest inner promptings, take committed action, and allow the loving universe to manifest beyond our wildest dreams. Now, who wouldn't want that? Beyond our wildest dreams, because guess what? We can't fathom what's in that higher frequency because we don't have the construct in our brains. We don't have the little slots in our brains to put in the information that could possibly exist in another way of being, another paradigm, another frequency. We've had way showers like Jesus with his loaves and fishes and the 40 bushel baskets left over after he fed the multitudes. That's an abundant universe beyond anything we can fathom. And that's the true nature of the universe in a higher frequency. So we have nothing to fight over. Nothing can give us power and control over others because we have more than they do, because everybody's going to have more than they can fathom. So it's the end of war. It's the end of everything that we've done, and then greed and competition and having to go to work to survive. We made that up.
That's ridiculous. Who came up with that
Who
one?
came up with that one?
Whoa.
For heaven's sakes, we came to have abundant life. We came to give our gifts and receive more than we can fathom. So let's keep going here. And what we want to share with you is a quote that you may have come across. It's attributed to Goethe, but it was actually written by a Scottish mountaineer named W.H. Murray. And here it is, and it's a key expression of what happens when one walks in total, absolute trust of a conscious, loving universe. So here it is. Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, that ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans. that the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. But guess what? It's not providence moving. It's us moving into a higher frequency. This is important. All sorts of things occur to help one that would never otherwise have occurred, because in a lower frequency, it doesn't happen. A whole stream of events issues from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance, which no man could have dreamed would have come his way. See, we can't fathom it, what's there in that frequency once we commit and walk in trust. Whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Bold, committed action in trust of a conscious, loving universe. And there's another quote by Henry David Thoreau that we would like to share with you, just to help you understand that there is another way of being in a higher frequency, that the laws are in fact different. So here we go.
You can do this one.
I'll do that. I can do that one
Yeah.
without even
Close
reading
your
it.
eyes and tell us.
Yeah. I learned this at least by,
I
at least by my experiment. And this is his Walden. This is the conclusion to Walden.
And the experiment was?
2 years, 2 months, and 2 days at Walden Pond, from which the book came.
Right.
And he was a mystic. He understood the loving nature of the universe. And here we go. And one thing also, he understood what the indigenous peoples, the Native Americans knew. And he spent his life researching the Native Americans to find out what they knew, because he could see what they could see. And that's a whole other aspect of Henry David Thoreau that very few people know about. We speak at the Thoreau Society regularly and bring this understanding forward, the mystical Henry David Thoreau and his involvement with the Native Americans. So here we go. I learned this, at least by my experiment, that if one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live the life which he has imagined, because we get things through our imagination that is beyond our mental construct, he will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. He will put some things behind, will pass an invisible boundary. New, universal, and more liberal laws will begin to establish themselves around and within him. Or the old laws will be expanded and interpreted in his favor in a more liberal sense, and he will live with the license of a higher order of beings. Now, how about this guy jumping up? He's like living a license of a higher order of beings. He's flying through the air, this guy. So
that piece of wisdom came from a New Englander, who last year celebrated his 200th birthday.
Yes, yay, Henry. We love Henry. So now we're going to move into just a little bit of our Dance of Souls on how to apply
practical application of the trust frequency worldview.
Yeah.
In relationships.
This
very evolutionary opportunity we have of getting together with fellow humans, for example.
Yeah, the Dance of Souls that we have with our parents, our kids, our teachers, our sweethearts, our love partners, for sure, big time. And our co-workers. It doesn't have to be a romantic relationship, because relationships are here to show us our light and our shadow. So it's the Dance of Souls, the relationship revolution, evolution. And our course, we have a course on socialchrysalis.com/the dance all hyphen the dance of souls. And if you choose to take that course and go deeper with this, because we're just going to give you a little bit on it. If you use the code D as in dog, OS as in Sam, 100, you get it at 1/3 off, at least until November 1st and maybe longer. And it's a 6-week course, and it goes deep into this dance of souls with relationships.
Does that mean dance of DOS 100, dance of souls for
100.
$100?
Yeah,
that what it
for
means?
$100, that's
I
what it
get
means.
I get it.
So
Okay.
we're just going to take you and we're going to give a little, show a little video
Little
that
overview of the
helps you
dance
to
of souls.
see the dance of souls. So we're going to, no, we don't want that. We don't
Okay.
want to run it that way. We want to run it this way
Uh-huh.
because where is it now?
Must be there
Shucks.
somewhere. Keep going.
Okay,
Keep-
we want to run it off of YouTube because we think it doesn't work very well.
Sometimes the sound is not good. Is that
Yeah,
what it is? Or
it's
it's
the
jittery?
sound isn't good. So here we go with our dance of souls, little video that helps you to understand what we're bringing with the dance of souls online course. So here we go.
Hello, we would like to introduce you to our course, The Dance of Souls. I'm Andrew
know.
Cameron Bailey.
And I'm Connie Baxter Marlow. Do you have relationship patterns you would like to change? Would you like to take your understanding of the nature of relationships to another level and understand how they all serve us? I will lead you through a deep journey of self-discovery, healing, and transformation through a new understanding of the nature of love.
And I will enhance that journey with a series of meditations that will expand your awareness to places you may never have been before.
So join us. We'd love to have you with us on this amazing journey to self-love, self-acceptance, and understanding that we are so loved by a conscious universe.
And you will find that your life has been transformed on a personal level and on an interpersonal level. Your relationships will evolve, you will have evolved, and you might just find yourself feeling like, whoa, I'm a brand new person. How about that?
And in that process, you come to bring your true gift to the party of life, and that's you.
I like the sound of that. You?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we are. So that's that. And here we are back here.
Technology
And-
seems to be working from this side.
Yeah, we're getting a gist of how to operate this thing and jump between YouTube and the slideshow. And so we just want to remind you, as we look at this dance of souls, who we are as humanity, that we are a collection of divine, autonomous, sovereign beings who have chosen to incarnate on earth to learn and grow on our soul's journey to wholeness, which is self-love and self-acceptance, each with an individual purpose and a unique gift. So that's a key piece to understand, that we chose to come here on our journey to self-love and self-acceptance. And we promised to bring a gift to the party. And that gift is us, our deepest, amazing self. And until we love all of ourselves, we can't bring that gift truly to the party as magnificent roving sensory organs of the divine. So here we are. the dance of souls. It's a deep experiential exploration into conscious relationships, because everybody has to choose to acknowledge this dance, because without being conscious and agreeing to dance, to go into it, it doesn't work, because we just stay in unconscious behaviors. So it's through an evolving understanding of the nature of the universe, the loving nature of the universe, which we've gone into. And we see the purpose of the dance of souls for mirroring our light and our shadow on this journey to wholeness. So here we go. And we're just going to share something from a friend. Let's see, I just want to go a little deeper. We recognize the purpose of repeated challenging behaviors that have come to us, and they've prevented us from seeing and experiencing fruitful learning experiences because we reject them. We say, I don't want them in my life anymore. And what we come to understand is that they show us the parts of ourselves we don't love yet, and show us our work. So it's about taking those personally, because they are signs that we have work to do. So that's the important thing. And especially if they trigger us, then we know that it's for our work, and it's not about getting them out of our lives. It's about us doing the work so that they don't have to treat us that way. And it's a whole construct about the nature of relationships, and we're not going to go deeply into it now, but we do have this course, The Dance of Souls, on socialchrysalis.com. So here we go. We move from victim to beloved as we realize everything in our life happens for us, not to us. And we take a step forward on the evolutionary upward spiral. So we've been in the dance of souls. We're in our 70s, and we're still dancing that dance of light and shadow, because it's such deep work. And there's, no matter how much work we've done, we still have little bits and pieces in there that wants to get out, because it's keeping our vibration down, and we want to get our vibration up to stay with the earth as she moves into a higher frequency, so that we can experience the magic that lives in those higher frequencies. So here is a letter and a Facebook post that a friend put on right on the day that we were giving our first Dance of Souls workshop. Her name's Adara Love, and she posted this not knowing anything about our course. And so we're going to read this to you because it's so important.
And it's so relevant.
And
isn't
so
it?
relevant, and
Yeah.
and maybe it will let you see some things about yourself that you might want to address. Do you want to read it a bit, or you want me to?
I could give it a shot.
Okay.
Do you want to do the scrolling?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So this is our beloved friend Adara. She says, feeling I have not been in right relations with many over these last few years. Family, community, sisters and brothers, lack of communication, dropping off commitments, saying yes when it's a no, passive aggressive tendencies, projections, and much more. I am receiving this awareness in little bits and pieces that this way of being is mirroring my relationship with myself. I have been out of integrity with my needs, wants, and desires. I give up on myself when things get tough. I lose myself in what others think, highly influenced by environment and others' needs / wants / desires, and I distract myself with what others are doing. Thanks. This is one of my sacred wounds, not knowing or remembering what my divine mission is or how to express it in the world, and really allowing the feeling of fear to inhibit expressing my true essence. And I am shifting and repatterning this now. My deepest apologies if you have experienced this with me. I am committed to taking responsibility for my actions and inactions through reflection, integration, compassion, fierce expression, and deep self-love. Thank you for your love and care while I navigate this terrain of self-awareness, self-love, and being in coherence with my divine mission and sacred purpose. Together we rise, loving you and me and humanity.
Yeah, Adara love. So that's just beautiful expression of this journey and this job we have to do, that we came on the planet to do, to come to self-love. And so I just wish you all, everybody here, the best on that journey. And the more we all become conscious of it and take responsibility for it, the faster we can move through it and come to bring our shadow into the light and release it and move into our divine purpose and an open heart.
And friends, it's not easy, but it is incredibly rewarding.
So we're going to just run through our next 5 assumptions, because we're coming to a close. We want to have a little time for questions and answers if anybody's out there with them. So here's our 5th assumption.
All right. The 5th assumption, free will is an absolute law of the universe.
And we'll read the little quote that we have with that from our, and so this free will is key in this dance of souls and in understanding that we did give an overarching act of free will when we incarnated to go on this journey. And we don't know another soul's journey of what they came here to experience in this conscious, loving universe.
And in case you can't read it on your screen, this is a little quote pulled from this chapter of the book. Each and every aspect of our lives is the direct result of the countless free will personal choices we have made. Even the most conformist of us has made a conscious choice to conform. In doing so, did we listen deeply to our own hearts? Did our parents or our teachers listen to us when we tried to tell them our truth? Probably not. At every step, we were presented with a choice. We made a decision, for better or worse, based on our fundamental assumptions about the nature of existence and what we thought would be best for us and those we cared about.
So there you have that. We're going to keep on moving. Our 6th assumption.
Yeah, circumstance guides us on our journey to wholeness. Now, is there anyone out there who's ever heard the term a victim of circumstance? Guess what? We turn that around and we show that we are, in fact, beneficiaries of circumstance.
And that circumstance loves us more than we do, because we think we want to fit in, be accepted, do what daddy expects us to do. And we haven't aligned in many ways with our divine purpose because of our deep self-doubt and because we want to show up in a world out of balance and be successful. And then circumstance comes and says, oh, excuse me, but you told me to take you on your journey to wholeness and self-love, and you're going to bring this gift. So here it comes. And it may not be fun. It may be really fun, but it may not be very much fun at all. So we just love the circumstance one way or the other because we understand.
So the 5th assumption was free will, and this is determinism, really. Circumstance appears to guide our life from the outside in an unconscious way, and yet
we resolve that paradox.
Loves us
more than we
love ourselves. That's extraordinary. It's the consciousness of the universe guiding us.
Yeah.
Did
and
you
here's
want,
the 7th.
You want a little quote from there or not?
Oh, yeah. Okay. A little quote from there. Okay. Let's go.
Okay. So from the 6th assumption, the fact is that the loving universe is never wrong. There are no mistakes. Once we understand the central role of circumstance in our lives and pay attention to its unerring guidance, we will never again think of ourselves as victims of circumstance.
So there you have it. And here's the 7th assumption. There is only now, this precious present moment. And when we get into the now, it's the gateway to the trust frequency. And tell you something, if you've noticed that your memory is leaving, and I've seen this for decades, that we're moving from our memory mind into our intuitive mind. And if we can't remember what we did yesterday, and we can't remember what we're supposed to do tomorrow, where are we? In the now. And that's where we can get into this higher frequency without these stories and without all this trauma and stuff that's happened to us. We've got to release it, bring it into the light, and know that it has served us on our journey to wholeness. So do you want to read that? 'Cause we
Yeah.
gotta keep
So the
moving.
seventh assumption is there is only now, this precious present moment. And here's how to get into this precious present moment. Slow down, stop everything, close your eyes, breathe deeply, gently, and contemplate nothing but the now. Feel the air, listen to the wind. Don't allow any thought of past or future or anything else to intervene. What do you see? What is going on? What do you feel right here and right now?
Yes, that's beautiful. That's a little meditation from Andrew. Beautiful. So our eighth assumption is all of creation is one. Separation is a man-made illusion. Let's just read this quote so we can keep
Okay.
on going.
The Eastern mystics and the indigenous people base their worldview on unitive principles, as do most of the other indigenous peoples. It wasn't until Newton, Descartes, and Darwin that we Westerners fully separated, although we had many centuries previously bought into the idea of a separate God, a distant judge-like patriarch who lived in a faraway place called heaven. Then, during the Age of Reason, we took the radical dualist fork, leading to the current paradigm of alienation, disconnected from the rest of creation.
Yes, indeedy. That's what we're emerging from.
These are the
and
consequences
into
of
our
those
understanding.
assumptions.
So the
Mhm.
ninth assumption is humanity is on an evolutionary upward spiral to peace on earth and heaven on earth. And why don't you read that quote?
Okay. We have a choice to make. Do we trust what we have learned so far in this book? And if so, are we ready to participate in our own evolution, in the process the futurist Barbara Marx Hubbard calls conscious evolution? The fact of the matter is this: Homo sapiens is at the dawn of a great evolutionary leap, a great awakening, leading inexorably to a higher, more conscious reality.
Indeedy. And here's the 10th one.
She must be a
The
miracle.
trust frequency is real, available to anyone, anywhere, anytime. And we've given some tools for how to get there. And there's a party going on. We're all invited and we'll see you there. And we just wanted to,
Do you want the quote?
oh yeah, go,
Okay.
sorry.
So this is the last quote from the book, friends. Once we understand the astonishing beauty of the conscious loving universe and our important place in it, we can attune ourselves to any frequency we choose. Once we fully understand and trust the fact that this higher reality is not only possible, but is the natural order of things, we transition into an enduring state of gratitude, love, and trust, ease, and grace, which are our primary vehicles to heaven on earth.
Yay, that's so beautiful. He's such a good writer, isn't he? He's just done such an amazing job with writing the book. And here, we'll just give you a little view of a visual of what it looks like, a lower frequency. And here's the prevailing core assumptions of separation, determinism, destruction, mechanistic universe, a time-based universe, and one where there is not love, meaning good and evil, and all that comes with that dualistic belief in right and wrong, and victim and perpetrator. And then we see what comes of it: conflict, the victim consciousness, We feel powerless. We're full of anxiety. We're full of fear and helplessness. Would you say that describes our current paradigm? I think so. It's kind of right there in those words. So what we're saying is we go to a higher understanding where everything has meaning. Everything's okay because it's all love. We're powerful because we understand that we actually create our reality. We trust the conscious loving universe and we walk it. We know that there's infinite balance and we are cooperative. We are not competitive because we know that cooperation with each other is going to bring something that's never been on the planet before as we all come together in our hearts. So big deal. And look at that big arrow going up in this big broad frequency. There's a nice graphic to help us understand all this. And so let's see. Here's the, oh, I guess we did that. So hold on, did we miss one? Yeah, I think we missed that we missed the higher frequency paradigm, that it's a conscious universe, that it loves us. There's only love, there's only free will. We're on an upward spiral. It's timeless. Time is, we made it up and we are one. So once we understand these things and we put them into practice in our lives, we experience another reality, which is one where there's meaning, everything's good and beautiful because it's all love. We're powerful beyond measure. We trust and we know it's in infinite balance and we cooperate, which I just went into. So that is it. And we just say, trust the loving universe.
We can summarize everything that went before in these 4 words: trust the loving universe.
So,
and friends, it really, really does change everything.
Everything. We can just use that mantra, trust the loving universe. And what we also say is the conscious, loving, abundant universe, to keep reminding us it is an abundant universe. We just have to get into that knowing and into that way of thinking to get ourselves up into that frequency where there's more than we can fathom. We give of our gifts and we receive more than we can fathom. And we deal with our shadow collectively, which is what's happening on the planet right now, as we're seeing our shadow come forth big time, and collectively, and our individual shadow. We must deal with our shadow and bring it into the light. And there's no shame, no blame, because it's the job we came here to do, to learn to love all aspects of ourselves, open our hearts, and walk in balance with all of creation. Thank you. And guess what? All of creation is awaiting the love in the human heart. And we're going to transform the whole of creation because we are it. So everything we do is it. We affect it. We have to understand. And going to Jude Currivan, Nassim Haramein, the resonance science, Marshall Lefferts, cosmometry, those guys are helping us understand through scientific experiments that we are the conscious loving universe. Thank you so much for coming. And we'll stop sharing our screen and see who's here and see if anybody has any thoughts. We better check out very soon.
Can you
Let
change
the
it
next
to,
person,
gallery view?
so the next person can come along. And there we have Joseph Murphy and Janinkui.
Yay.
Whoa, our special friends,
friends
one
here.
from New England and one Native American, the amazing musician and singer. And we've presented with her. Do you have anything you want to say? You want to share a little bit of wisdom with us, Janinkui? Medicine bird?
Can you hear me?
Yep,
Yes,
we can hear
indeed.
you.
Oh.
We're with you.
Okay. I really don't have any words of wisdom. Just I think I learned a lot in these last 6 months because I was really isolated and sheltered out in Badlands, and there's nothing out there. So the hardest thing that I had to learn was actually to let go and just be because not knowing what's going to happen with us. And we had to shelter in place because of our age and because, Renee's age, and because there were, the virus is on the reservation and cases are climbing. So we don't know who has it or whatever. But the hardest thing was actually to let go of the fear, but also protect myself and don't worry about whatever anybody else thought about, and it seemed like I was more worried about, other people. I'm worried about other people, but they're not worried about me because I'm the only one that was actually protecting ourselves. But I kind of just let that go, because people are people and they can do whatever they want. And if they catch the virus, that's their fault, but doesn't mean I have to go along with them. I can do, continue on how I protect myself and Renee. And then I had to also learn how to fill up my time being creative when there's nothing out there. I mean, there wasn't even a tree, and I got sick because of dehydration out there. So I spent a lot of time, and I spent time with friends online, and they taught me some ceremonies and just to be on the earth and just go barefoot so that I could, ground myself, earthing. And then we didn't even go to ceremony. We didn't get a chance because there's no ceremonies around. And so we kind of made up our own kind of ceremony inside of our little RV. And then just every day find something that we could do, even if it was just go getting rocks. But we were busy anyways because every day Renee was getting water. And so we were doing like earthy stuff. And then just little things came along, and then I got involved with some of these Zoom things that were going on, and I said I got to go talk to people. If I can't talk to them face to face, I got to call them up. But so that was going on, and also just learning that we have to learn how to just let go and just enjoy the moment. I'm taught mindfulness. I teach about mindfulness. So when anybody asked me or whatever about mindfulness, about staying in the moment, I had to practice my own teaching, my own thing that I teach, which was really kind of hard if you don't do it all the time. And so then I also had a hard time with Renee because he wants to keep up on the news. And I was like, Renee, just turn it off, okay? Because it doesn't do nothing good for our mind or our spirit. Right. And so, yeah, so we learned, I learned how to just learn how to be and accept day to day that I'm still alive and the world's still alive amid all the stuff that's happening in the fires and all that. And just, not knowing what's truth and not truth, because there's a lot of that out, but it doesn't bother me. But I just make sure that every day that I remind myself to wake up in the morning and say a prayer and be thankful for each day. And if somebody comes my way and needs help, I'm going to help them. But, just enjoying the ride. It was a long 6 months and I was like, is things going to change or whatever? But then we got this little house in Gordon. And so it was a lesson because I was just camped right by my daughter. And so we had to observe each other's space. And then I've never even got to hug my daughter or my grandchildren. We just waved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you've gotten to really test your understandings because you're carrying so much wisdom with your mindfulness and with your indigenous knowing. And so you've really gotten put to the test, which is the loving universe saying, okay, young lady, are you really there with what you know in your heart of hearts and your people know? And so it's all a time of testing, and we're going to have to get off shortly.
Yeah.
So
It's
I'm
great
just
to see
great
you.
to see you, my
Really
dear.
good to see you.
And we look forward to
See you too.
presenting with you again someday, sometime, because you bring to our knowing such a depth and breadth. So it's wonderful to see you. Love to Renee.
Yeah, love to Renee.
And
Sure.
And so, let's see.
Oh, we're going to Africa too in June.
Oh, I
Oh,
want to
great.
come.
Swaziland.
Yeah, sweet, sweet.
All right, much love.
Much love,
Bye-bye,
Jenny.
You
Janika.
too.
Bye-bye.
And so one thing we're also doing on Thursday here in the EvolveUP room, Janiqui, we're bringing forth the evolution, the role of the US of A, United States of America, in the evolution of consciousness. And that has to do with the syntheses with the Native Americans here on Turtle Island, here, and the evolution of the American mind and spirit and democracy. So that's a key piece of our work in the world, is to let people know the importance of the role the Native Americans have played in the evolution of consciousness of humanity and in the evolution of the American mind and spirit and democracy, which is not known, that we have actually worked together and brought forth something so important, which is the Constitution of the United States, the Declaration of Independence, the whole spirit and dream of America, which is liberty, justice, equality, and abundance for all. This is contained in the indigenous worldview, and it's contained in the vision of the founders of this nation. And what the Mayflower Pilgrims brought over on the Mayflower 400 years ago to in this year, 1620, they brought this vision, and they came and they met the Native Americans and lived in peace and friendship for 54 years in Plymouth, Massachusetts. That is so not understood or realized. And then the aspects of the great law of the Iroquois coming into the Constitution through the association with the Iroquois Confederacy. So this is key stuff that is not known, understood, and needs, and what we need now, and what's coming now, and must come for us to really realize the American vision and promise to the world, is to bring the Native Americans in to the table as equals now for the going forth of this nation and of the consciousness of humanity. So
And
we're bringing-
Thursday is?
Thursday is Constitution Day, National Constitution Day.
And the Iroquois attended the original constitutional
Convention,
Yep.
yeah. So
Big deal,
this is
big deal
important
that
stuff.
most of hardly any Americans, who knows that, you know?
Yeah, and what is necessary for us to get there together is the evolution of consciousness. What we believe is moving into the trust frequency. In God we trust. It's on all our money. It's right there in our face. We've got to move into that place to realize this vision that we can have abundant life and be truly free and equal. So that's what we're doing on Thursday. So I hope you can come and join us
Maybe you can
again.
find us again on this, in this same location,
The
right?
same location
Yeah.
on Thursday. I'm not
Uh-huh.
sure what, I can't remember if it's 3 or maybe it's 5 to 7 on East Coast time. Anyway, check it out. And I'll be posting on that wherever you saw this.
Yeah.
So come back and come to the Evolve Up room. You'll hear lots of good stuff, my dear.
Okay.
Cool. All right, nice
Everybody.
to see you guys.
Talking
Hugs.
to Janiqui, but all people.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Joseph. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you. I'll see you again.
Yeah,
Bye.
take care, Joseph.